Well, what's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about the 3 key investments that you need to make in order to retire early. And I'm not talking about a lean retirement where you have to eat Chef Boyardee, you can't travel, you have to live a minimalist lifestyle, you have to sell your couch and sleep on the floor. No. We're talking about having a nice retirement where you're actually able to travel, go overseas, and do fun things, and enjoy your life, and go out to eat once in a while, and have a nice house. We're going to talk about how to get there and how to get there early. To give you an example, I am following these 3 key investments, and my projections are, I'm 23 now, I will be able to retire with that lifestyle in my mid to late 40s. So also, if that's too late for you, I'll talk about at the end of the video what you would need to do in order to speed that process up, or if you're a little bit older than me, maybe you're in your late 20s or mid 30s, how you can achieve that same goal and retire at the same age even though you're starting later. So we'll get into all that at the end of this video. But to start in this video, we're going to go over the 3 key investments, and we're going to go over them in order, starting from the most important one to do, which will be the first one, to the second, to the third. And we're even going to go over a bonus tip at the end of this video as well, for those of you who have a really high income and you're able to actually invest even more. We'll go over that one as well. And the point of this as well, don't get overwhelmed. Don't think that you need to invest in all 3 right away. I don't expect that. That's why we're going over the most important one first. You invest in number 1, and then when you're able to invest in number 2, you do number 2. And then when you're able to do number 3, you do number 3. These are goals to strive for. And again, remember, I said we are overshooting the $2 million mark. If you just did number 1, you will hit the $2 million mark. So we are making sure that you have plenty. So don't stress yourself out if you're not able to do all 3 right away. Even if you're not able to do number 1 to what I'm about to recommend here, just get started. You'll be able to make it happen. Number 1 is to invest $1,000 a month into the stock market. So remember what I said, don't get overwhelmed. If you don't have $1,000 a month right now, just invest $500 a month, $200 a month, whatever you have. Because chances are, even if you don't have the income right now to invest $1,000 a month into the stock market, at some point your income will go up. And while right now maybe you can only do $500 a month, at some point then you will be able to do $1,000 a month. And then you will actually be able to do $1,500 a month, maybe even $2,000 a month at some point in your life. And that will average out to even up and make up for the time period where you could only invest $500 or $200 a month into the stock market. So how is investing in the stock market going to get us to our goal of a $2 million net worth? So if you put $1,000 into the stock market and you're able to get a 15% return on your money, don't click out yet, I'll tell you how you can get a 15% return on your money. And you did that for 23 years. It would take you 23 years and you'd have $2 million alone just in the stock market. So now, the 15% return on your money. If you're going to just invest in your standard index fund or mutual fund, set it and forget it, historically, yeah, you won't get the 15% return on your money. And there's a lot of talk out there about how it's not possible to beat the S&P 500 benchmarks or any of these index fund benchmarks. Look, for the individual investor, if you're actually researching these companies and looking at the financials, I'm not talking about day trading, but if you're a long-term investor strategy, like a Warren Buffett, it's totally possible. I'm not saying you're gonna get the returns of a Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett smashed 15%. 15% is nothing compared to him. This is totally doable, but it is possible if you're investing in high-value stocks or growth stocks. And I'm going to recommend you to a channel out there called Financial Education. He has 2, Financial Education and Financial Education 2. Check out his content where he actually talks about how it's possible to achieve a 15% ROI or even greater consistently every single year investing in stocks. And the way he does it is he invests in individual stocks, he researches them, spend a couple hours every single week, and on his channel he'll dive into how to research them, how to pick stocks, and how to achieve this. So before you just click out of this video, give his videos a chance if you don't believe that 15% is possible. Try it a little bit, but I mean, you got to get over that mindset that the 15% isn't possible. Don't let that discourage you and not invest at all. Because even if you don't get the 15%, who cares? You undershot a little bit, maybe you didn't get 2 million. Just invest, just invest. All right, so you've got the 23 years, and you've got $2 million now, 23 years later, from investing $1,000 a month. Again, at the end of this video, I'll tell you how you can speed this up and make this even faster. Number 2 is to buy a house. So look, I bought this house at 23 years old, which means even if I don't make any extra payments toward the principal, this house will be completely paid off at 53 years old. Now I've eliminated my biggest housing expense. So if I'm retiring in my mid 40s to late 40s, I know in just a few short years, I won't even have the housing expense anymore. So now basically the income that I'm getting from my $2 million stock portfolio is, I basically have almost no expenses. And the next biggest expense is actually your medical expense. And we'll get into what you can do about that. That's the third investing tip. But again, let's say, you're gonna move, because you probably will move. If you buy a place at 23 years old or in your early or mid 20s, you're probably not gonna stay there forever. The point is, don't sell the place, rent it out, because that place will still be paid off in 30 years. And so when I'm 53, even if I moved and I bought another place and I now have a mortgage payment on that place, well, it's still basically wiped out, because now this place is paid off and the income that I'm getting from this one is going to pay off the other property. So don't think that you need to buy the house right away. I mean, that is a goal, that's what you should strive for, but I know it may be tough to say, all right, I'm trying to put $1,000 a month into the stocks and I'm trying to save for the real estate to buy a house. It's just too much. Look, there's some strategies to this. One, you can do maybe a down payment assistance grant, which can help cover the down payment. Plus, if you're buying an owner-occupied resident, you can get in for as little as 3 to 3.5% down, maybe even 0 if you're a veteran. And there are ways to also cover the closing costs or reduce them by taking a higher interest rate or getting the seller to credit you some money back towards closing costs. I have other videos on that you can check out. But the point is, once you have enough money to buy a house, then buy a house. So even if that means you have to take your stocks that you've been putting $1,000 a month into, once you have enough for the down payment, closing costs, sell them to buy a house, do that, and then start growing the stocks again. Because the real estate will help you leverage that money in a few years to buy more stocks if you need to and make up for it, or to buy another house. And now you could have 2 houses. You can have one that you're living in paid off and another one that's just pure income on top of that coming in. So the way that you would do that is you could get a home equity line of credit, or you could refinance the place, and then with that money you can buy back into the stock market, or you can buy another house, and it'll make up for the money that you had to originally sell from the stock market in order to buy this first one. And then number 3, this one is going to take care of your medical expenses. So remember, number 2 is going to make sure that you don't have any housing expenses when you go to retire. And number 3 is going to get rid of your medical expenses, which is a health savings account. So not all medical plans come with the health savings account. There's 2 main types of medical plans: a high deductible or a high premium. So here's the difference. A high premium basically means that you're going to be spending, say, $300-400 a month on your premiums that you come out and you pay every single month, whether you go to the doctors or not. But the pro is, when you do go to the doctor, your expenses are very low. Your prescription costs are very low. Maybe your doctor visit is only $10 out of pocket, very low. The high deductible plan, instead of paying $300 or $400 a month, you only have to pay, say, $20 a month. But when you go to the doctor, you're going to have to spend $100 on that visit. Your prescriptions are going to be way more expensive. And so because of that, they give you a health savings account for these high deductible plans, which is almost like a 401k. Your money comes out of your paycheck tax-free. There's no taxes paid on it. Goes into the health savings account. Once you have $1,000 in that health savings account, you can then invest that money. Anything over that, you can invest into the stock market. And then when you go to spend that money on any medical expenses that you do have, it's also tax-free. You don't pay any taxes on that money. And so this is a way where if you just put in $2,000 a year into your health savings account, by the time you go to retire, you may have $100,000 in your health savings account that you can spend on medical expenses tax-free. And if you don't end up using all that money by the time you do go to your normal retirement age, right around 59.5, 65, you can actually use that money just like a regular 401k on other expenses that aren't medical related. So it's almost like a secondary 401k account. So the fourth option, the bonus one, this is for those of you out there, maybe you have a high income and you're able to do all 3 of these at the same time and you have even more. I would recommend investing in your employer's 401k plan if they provide a match. If they don't provide a match, forget it. But the match is great because you're almost guaranteed a 50% to 100% return on your investment. You can't find that anywhere else. The reason why it's not in the 1, 2, or 3 key investments that I recommended is because if you're planning to retire early, you can't even touch that money until you're 59.5 without incurring a penalty. So even if you've got the $2 million in the 401k that you need at 45 years old or 40 years old, you still can't touch that. You basically would need double of what your goal is in order to take that out, deal with the penalties, and still have enough. So this is kind of great for, hey, maybe you retire at 45, maybe you realize this money that you're retiring with is only going to last you 20 years, but hey, you know in 15, 20 years, you're about to get another boost from your 401k, and then another 5 years after that, you're going to get another boost from your Social Security money coming in. So it's just an extra boost, an extra safety precaution that, hey, it would just be nice to have. Here's some more bonus money coming in. So to speed up this process now, if you're my age and you want to retire even earlier, or if you're older than me, the main thing that you're going to have to do is put more money into these things. If you can put in $1,500 a month instead, or you could even double it, $2,000 a month, that would be huge if you could do that in the stock market. And you can go online and look at what's called a compound interest calculator, and you can play with it, and you can see how much do I need to put in with a 15% return on my money, how much do I need to put in every single month to retire in 15 years instead of 23 years. So you can play with that number. And then the other option is, instead of just buying your one primary residence that you're going to live in, see if maybe you can buy a few extra properties. Maybe you can have 4 houses. I mean, that would be huge. Now you've got your house paid off, plus you've got 3 other rental properties that are just paying you money straight into your pocket. And the easiest way that's going to be able to get there is by making more money. By making more money. So whether you got to start a side hustle, whether you've got to get in another industry, get promoted, go to another company, that might be what you have to focus on. So do what you can now to strive to get to that $1,000 a month range in the stock market. Try to get there, and if you realize that that's not going to be possible with the current job that you're in, then you need to focus on getting into another job. But if you can do that with your current job, cool. Focus on doing that. Get that $1,000 a month in there. Then once you've got that established, figure out, okay, how can I get to the point now where I can buy my first house to live in? And then you got to realize, hey, I can achieve this at this company. I just need to get a bonus. I need to get a raise. I need to get promoted. Figure out how you can get promoted. Or if you realize you can't achieve that with this company, figure out what you need to do. New industry, new company. Or if you're able to do that, then now you focus on step 3, the HSA. All right, what do I need to do in order to be able to contribute to the HSA? Can I do that in my current job, or do I need a new one? So that's the way you focus on it. Focus on, can I get number 1 accomplished? And if you can't, then you have to ask yourself, do I have an income problem or a spending problem? And you got to fix it. But I hope this helps lay things out for you in a clear manner of exactly what you need to do in a very realistic and achievable way to help you retire early. And this is totally possible, even if you're only making $50,000 a year, to get started and do the $1,000 a month in the stocks. You're just gonna have to be very frugal. You might have to house hack if you buy your house and rent out the other rooms. You might have to, if you're currently renting, just live with roommates. You're gonna have to make some sacrifices. You won't be able to travel now, but it's totally possible. The more income you have, the easier it will be, the less sacrifices you have to make. But it's totally possible on a lower income. You just have to do the opposite. More sacrifices, live more frugally for now. I hope this video helps you guys. Check out some of my other content that's specifically on how to invest in real estate and how to get started, and some of the tips and tricks for house hacking and getting in. So stay tuned. I'll be putting out more content like this. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you know anyone else who would benefit from this or is looking to retire early, share it with them. And until next time, thanks.